just get the mic.
Is that me, like, Jack?
No, I'm just, you're all coming up with it.
Probably don't need to.
Maybe I'll get Simon's head in.
Here you go, guys. If you just want to share both of these, that would well. Thank you so much.
Well, Jack Jenkins, your career looks like it continues. How do you feel, mate?
Yeah, feeling really good. I think Jimmy won. Fucking let's go.
First round.
Fuck, what a card, eh? Yeah, look, I think, Mitch, I alluded to it on my Instagram last night. I put up a post and just said, I'm here to stay. So I wanted to leave no doubt that I wasn't going in there with the mindset that it was over for me. I was going in there to implement a game plan and continue.
And it seems like you've put on a brave face, not just this fight week, but it seems like the last 6, 12 months, whatever it's been, the emotions kind of really flowed after the fight. Not even the victory, but after the fight was over. Can you talk us through that and why it was so heavy?
Look, it was just a lot to get back here. Like, you just carry baggage with you through the whole of a fight camp, and, you know, I'm lucky to these boys sitting up here, and there's a couple who aren't here. Jacob Prosser, he was supposed to be in my corner, and Thursday night in my hotel room I woke up and he was vomiting everywhere in the toilet, and he had pretty nasty food poisoning, so we had to sub Ben in late notice. Ben's been in my corner a few times, so it was a pretty easy transition. But I think, you know, after the last fight I was having a little bit of trouble getting in the gym, and I think in the space of 1 week I had Andy call me and say, look, I expect more of you. You know, you weren't here when you said you'd be here. I need to see, you know, I need to see you get back to yourself if I'm going to keep going with this. And then a couple of days later I had the same conversation with Simon, and that's where I think maybe for young fighters it's more important to have coaches that care about you and that know you and want the best for you, more so than always just chasing, you know, going to the best camp or the most, you know, influential camp at the time, because, you know, having these guys nudge me in the right direction in a way that puts me on the path that's best for me at any given time is so valuable. But in terms of on a personal level, it was just a lot to get back in here, and I'm really proud of myself for getting back in.
And why does it mean so much to you to obviously have all your coaches and your brother up there with you right now?
I just thought it would be fun. Like, no one really does it, and I thought maybe you could ask them some questions. I'm pretty comfortable talking about myself, but maybe you could get their opinion on a few things.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that is something exactly that I want to do. Simon, you're the one that actually had to give Jack the call of the injury back in Sydney. To see obviously the despair and the sort of scariness of that moment, to now obviously the elation of that whole chapter sort of being over and the victory, how does it feel? How do you put that into words?
It's good. No, look, obviously it was also on a phone call that was breaking up, and I was only getting every second word, like, neck, don't move, emergency, ICU, and all these, and I was like, what? And then so I was like, and then I said, hey Jack, we need to go back to the hospital. He jumped up on the table to jump out because he was kind of blocked in, and I was about to jump off the table, and I just heard something like neck fracture or something, and I was like, don't jump off the table. That was what. And then obviously seeing back in Westmead for the second time, I think we're pretty much in the same bed in emergency as we were at the previous Sydney card. So to see him sort of get back, I mean, yeah, just elated for him, and I don't see him that emotional too often, so yeah. And
great performance in Perth. Of course, the sort of streak curse continues with Sydney and Perth. Will you guys also never let him fight in Sydney again? I thought he just mentioned in an interview that he said Sydney, and I was a little bit like...
No, we said that Sean Shelby came out the back, and Ben said to him, not Sydney. And I said, yeah, fuck Sydney, I'm not going back.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see Sydney. Just, I know Westmead Hospital too well now after. And I guess I'll ask you, I mean, Jack just mentioned as well that he almost needed a kick in the backside. Can you talk us through what happened and how you got him back on track?
Jack, he actually came straight back to the gym to help his training partners train for their fight. So it wasn't that he wasn't in the gym, it's just he wasn't focused on himself and his own training. He was there helping his teammates and turning up and doing what he had to do, and then going home. And I just said, you need to be doing the extra things and putting in the extra work that you used to do when you were fighting. And then, yeah, I mean, Jack's great. You talk to him, and then he can self-reflect really well. And then, yeah, he's straight back into training.
And I guess Ben, Jack's brother, while you're up there, talk about what it's like. I mean, life-threatening injury to obviously the elation that you're seeing right now. You're getting to share these moments with him, good and bad. What's it like?
Yeah, look, I think I've had the benefit of seeing the entirety of Jack's career and the highs and lows of the fight game. And you know, a lot of kids, they take this path, and Jack's not necessarily your traditional fighter. He's a highly intelligent kid. He's got a lot of potential in so many different aspects. Yet he still chose this really difficult path. And you know, I've been there to see those evolutions, the wins, the losses, the high times, the low times, and you know, we have such a fantastic family. But I guess to come back from that last injury, it was, you know, it was really concerning. We were worried for him, and it's just one of those things. We all do our best to get around him, and for him to be able to go through that level of adversity, particularly this fight, I think you saw the level of emotion that came out from it. And it's not just Jack, it's our mum sitting back at the hotel who can't watch his fights. You know, the first time she actually did watch one of his fights in the last 10 fights was the one where he was piecing up Chepe and then made a mistake and got thrown and dislocated his elbow sideways. So mum refuses to watch our fights, and you know, to get the phone calls, see the emotion from the family, we're all on the journey with him, and we just, you know, we love watching him do it, and to see him get back to the point he's at now, and particularly to get over such a big hurdle, it's just, yeah, it's huge. We're so proud of him.
And Jack, you seem to be almost welling up with your coaches and your brother speaking about you. What does it do to share this massive life-changing moment? And like we said, this is, you know, you get to put this chapter behind you now, but you seem to be really, really taking it in, and you're a big believer on work-life balance with this sort of situation. Is this one of those moments?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I just feel like I'm really lucky. Like, I'm really lucky to have the people I have, and this is one of those moments where you just reflect on that. And back to the fight sort of situation, what do you want to do now? Is this a situation where you just want to be with your family and friends and take it all in, or is it still career focused even right now? Look, I'm getting married in 4 weeks, so the next 4 weeks I'm just going to focus on my fiancée Britt and our family, and I've got a few teammates. Khan, I'm really spewing. Last time I fought in Perth, I flew back Sunday night and I was in the gym helping Khan get ready on Monday, and Khan, I think, flew out yesterday or the day before. No, he flies out Friday, so I'm flying home Monday. I'm flying home Monday morning. I'll pretty much leave my bag and go to our 2 p.m. session to see if I can help Khan. Alistair is fighting as well. I want to see if I can help him, but on a more broad scale, I'm just focused on my family for the next 4 weeks. I've got a bit of a leg injury. It's nothing bad. It just needs some bruising to heal up. But then on a professional level, I think I've spoken to Andy about it, and my strength coach. I think I need to maybe change my body composition slightly, and just maybe get a fraction lighter for the next fight. I didn't have a hard weight cut at all. I was in really good shape, but I just think it leaves me no margin for error, the way I do the weight cut. Like, if everything goes well, I'm almost a perfect featherweight. But if something was to go wrong in the 3, 4, 5 days leading up to the fight, it might put me in a position where it's going to be tough, and that might affect the fight. So I think I might just spend a little bit of time between now and maybe Christmas working on that, and then right from, you know, middle of December, Christmas, try and book a fight again. And just on the Ramon weight miss and the percentage that you received, and you're going to donate that to the Ronald McDonald House, just a brief sort of statement on why that means so much to you. Yeah, look, I'm an ambassador for the VRC at Flemington, and our major charity partner is Ronald McDonald House, so I've had the privilege of seeing the work that company does, and I don't think any family should have to spend time away from a sick kid, and I don't think any sick kids should spend any time without their mum and dad close. So when Ramon missed weight, I was sitting in the room with my manager, and I said, can you please just organise for that money to get donated to Ronald McDonald House? And MA1 and StreetX did a collaboration for a t-shirt for me for this fight, and every dollar we make from those shirts are going to go to Ronald McDonald House as well. And I'm also going to do a whip around of all of my sponsors who have helped me out for this fight and see if any of them are going to match it. And hopefully maybe we can get a family 6 to 12 months accommodation for a sick kid. That would be pretty special.
And our final one for me, I promise. When it comes to sort of the UFC backing you in through the injury, obviously you said you're the only guy that's ever fallen upwards. You're in the press conference, you're doing all the media, the UFC, and everyone seems to be so high on you. What does it mean to have the UFC have your back and believe in you?
Yeah, it's huge. I think the way you carry yourself is reflected in things like that. I think I treat the staff well because they treat me really well. I go out of my way to do extra things if the UFC asks for it. I don't think I'm difficult to deal with, and then when it comes time to fight, I think I'm entertaining. So I don't think it's a surprise that they help me out and push me like they do, but I just still got to get in there and perform at the end of the day.
Jack
Smoosh. Hey, Joel.
Just down here. You kind of touched on the moment after the fight, you know, the taking the kind of sitting down in the cage. Immediately, your head was in your hands. You don't know the outcome of the fight, but you do. But
when you
it's not official yet. But still, what is that moment? The moment the final horn sounds. What is that moment?
Okay, you might be the first time you've ever caught me at a loss for words. I don't know how to describe it. Like, the feelings you go through in a fight week, it's just hard to explain. Like, from this morning waking up at 5 a.m. and then you just sitting waiting for the bus, and every 30 seconds you swap between, all right, what are you going to do if you get a bonus? And you get a bonus, and then you can do this and you can do that, and you can help this person out and do that. Or what if you lose? Are you actually going to retire, or do you want to maybe go to lightweight? What are you going to do then? You're fighting these mental battles the whole way, and I just kept telling myself to just stay present and just focus on the task. So it actually takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that, and I just kept thinking about my right kick. I just worked on it so often. It was just step in, keep your chin down and throw that right kick. So every time my head went in a different direction, I just literally just visualized myself throwing that right kick, and that seemed to keep me pretty grounded. But then as soon as that bell went and the fight was over, it was like there was nowhere to hide from it. The emotion was just there, and I just let it out.
I think it was a really beautiful outpouring of emotion. Did you realize how much you were carrying?
Yeah, I knew I was carrying a lot. It probably, I think I've said it in the past that the Contender Series is the hardest thing I ever had to do. Just the way the stress of Contender Series is, and it's a pressure cooker, and how hard it is. I think this week and this camp was on par with Contender Series in a lot of ways, and in some other ways it was even harder. But I think my performance tonight probably outweighed that of Contender Series.
You mentioned it in an answer earlier, at least you kind of alluded to it, about kind of putting the chapter behind you. Do you feel, you said in the cage you were so kind of scared to come back. Do you think that fear is now gone?
Yeah, look, I think, Alex Volkanovski, when he came back from his 2 losses, he said that just keep pushing through adversity and you'll be twice the man on the other side of it than when you started. And I think that's going to ring true for me. And I think you're always going to have to deal with things, but I'm going to be twice the man to be able to deal with it.
I've said to you this fight week, you've seemed so much calmer about everything. You said, you could actually go out and enjoy dinner with your family. I think this visual is a stark showing of not necessarily a change, because I think you've always been kind of like a compassionate person, but literally bringing the team with you. Is this how things will be going forward? Are you going to be calmer now going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think just to separate those two things, the calmness in dealing with you guys and the questions I answered, and even the interview you and I had at the gym, that comes from a preparation. And while I was dealing with all this stuff mentally, you can ask these guys, I've never had a preparation as good as this. Everything, Andy would come into the gym Monday and he'd be like, I see this, I want to work this, and by Friday I'd be implementing it. And then Simon would say, hey, I think this for the fight, and I'd be like, okay, I'll I'll look at it, we'll do this. And the actual preparation, that confidence came from the work we did in the gym. The other stuff was more me working through stuff, but that's never in the gym. As soon as I'm through the door at the gym, it's not like I'm there battling away against demons. Once I'm in the door, I'm training hard, I'm not even thinking about it. And that confidence came from the prep.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you.
For the teammates, last one from me, the teammates and the coaches on stage. You know, Jack's talked about the weight he was carrying into this. Did you guys feel that weight? And now that maybe weight's lifted, how are you feeling now?
Okay. To be honest, no. I saw Jack this morning and I thought he looked a little something going on in his mind. But then once he started warming up and bashing his brother, I had no doubts. That was...
Yeah, I'm just glad I wasn't Ben in the warm-up. No, but yeah, look, you just hope he performs to his best. And, you know, it was the first time he hasn't had a niggle going into a fight for a long time. So you're kind of hoping that all the stars aligned and, you know, and that he just does what he can.
Yeah, look, I think I knew the emotional load that he was carrying. Just, you know, when you're brothers, you kind of understand, and he's getting better and better, like he said, about dealing with all the press conference and all those other things. But you're still in the quiet moments in between all the interviews and everything else. You kind of notice those things, and I'm just... Yeah, really, really impressed with the way that he handles it. It's one of those things. Unless you've fought and you've done that kind of level of experience, it really is one of those kind of peak experiences. And the way that he handled it and the way that he's now managed to handle the adversity from this, I think it just really does set him up for all those fights in the future.
Thank you, guys.
I feel like the odd one out, the only one here you don't know.
Sorry, mate. What's your name?
Paddy.
Paddy.
So
Paddy?
Paddy, like Patrick.
Oh, Paddy.
Yeah. We looked up at the screen because we had some people in here and we saw you crying, and we weren't sure if it was happy tears or sad tears, but there's been a big outpour of emotion in this, and fighting's still kind of seen as this macho kind of sport. So how comfortable are you with kind of showing your emotions?
I'm getting better as I get older. And I'm not, like, I think, like Simon said, that's probably as emotional as he's ever seen me. I'm usually a pretty, like, happy-go-lucky guy. Not much gets to me. But that was just a unique moment. And yeah, people do think, I often get... you know, I do some speaking gigs and things like that, and often people in the crowd will come up after and they go, "Oh, geez, you speak really well for a fighter." And it's like there's almost this expectation that we're all meatheads, but I think you guys would know firsthand that you speak to people who fight, and often it's people who are really intelligent and emotional and good people.
And with the weight miss for Tavares coming in, it wasn't the smoothest fight where there's a couple of nut shots as well. When those happen, were you like, is it just building in your head and like, oh, come on, bro? Like, you already missed weight. What's going on here?
Nah, every time he hit me, straight away he said, "Oh, brother, sorry." And it's like, fuck it. And there's this animosity when you're leading up to it. And I try not to even carry that. I know I saw him a couple of times during the week, and I didn't even get him the opportunity to not say hello to me. I just walked up and tried to like dap it up with him, and I knew he wasn't really on that energy. And even in the cage, I went to touch gloves and he didn't want to touch gloves. But in the third round, I think I walked up in between the second and third and I said, "Do you want to touch gloves here? Because it's like, this is our last chance." And he was like, "Yep." So we touched gloves in the third and he went out, and look, he missed weight by 1 pound. And he's flown all the way across the world. His back's against the wall. He's come to my home country. And even there might have been, like, he messed up his timings, East Coast to West Coast or something. There's absolutely no animosity on my end there. And that's why I felt like I didn't really want his money. I'd rather it go to a good cause.
Ben, did I see the moustache is genetic?
Yeah, mine's a bit worse than his, but...
Is it a bit of a conflicted feeling when you get the call up to be in the corner? Because I imagine it's an exciting experience, but then your friend's kind of unwell.
Yeah, look, I've cornered Jack for, I don't know, probably 60% of his fights. I prefer not to be in the corner personally, because I just feel the responsibility to...
Because he gets bashed out the back.
Yeah, and he dropped me twice today, warming up. So I don't love that part of it, and I train once every 12 months at the point I'm at in my life. So, yeah, but I think... in terms of like being in the corner, I just want to be there for him and do everything right to give him the best opportunity. And some of his best performances, I think, have pretty much been when he's just worked the shit out of me out the back before he goes out there. So it seems to work. And, you know, I feel bad for Pross. He was supposed to be in the corner. Pross is, he does everything for Jack in fight week. So, yeah, I feel bad for him, but I'm really happy to just be in the corner and help him out and do what I can.
And this one's for the coaches. We had Brando in here earlier, and he was expressing his gratitude to his coach. What's it like to kind of sit there and hear the impact you've had on your fighters' lives in the third person as they're kind of telling someone else instead of them telling you directly?
Well, Jack's very open. He says thank you to us all the time, and if we go out of our way to help him out, he's always saying thank you, I appreciate you. So it's not a huge surprise to hear it. It's nice that he says it in public, but I feel appreciated from Jack. Yeah.
Pretty much just echoing what Andy says. He's one of the good guys that does actually, you know, recognise the work. Because I feel there are some people that maybe you do a lot for them and they don't recognise it, but he's definitely one of the good ones that does. So, you know, it's sort of like it does make you feel like you're actually working for something bigger than, you know, just turning up to the gym to take a class. It's great to see people succeed in their lives, and I suppose it's like anyone, like getting good job fulfillment. And so, yeah, it's nice to make, nice to think that you're making a difference to someone's life.
Thank you. And for your honeymoon, Jack, I think you should go to Timaru in New Zealand, go visit the birthplace of Farlap, and just get a lecture on how Farlap is a New Zealand horse.
Yeah. Look, I've got a New Zealand filly named There Were Roses. Me and Volk own it actually, and Benny and a couple others who's going to go around in the VRC Oaks. So I've got a good relationship with the New Zealand horses, but all the good ones are trained in Australia.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks, boys. Thank you.